Howdy, howdy, everybody. This is Colin, back at it again with yet another video. Today I'm going to be doing a music review, something a little bit different and something I've never actually really done on this channel. Obviously, the podcast has the music recommendations and stuff, but this is an album that I felt truly deserved a video on its own right and is truly just a masterclass of atmosphere and songwriting. Today we're going to be talking about Exuvia by the Ruins of Beverast, which is a very underrated project, one that I don't see a lot of buzz or talk about, and one that absolutely deserves a lot more attention because with every release that this band has put out, it's just incredible what he's able to do. It is a one-man project by a German gentleman, and I will probably be less reviewing and more just gushing about how awesome this album is because it's one that has stuck with me over the years. And I actually remember the first time I listened to it. I was in my English 4 class in high school, and I remember being immediately just taken aback by how dense and grand this album is and just the vibe that it encapsulates. It's one that I've not really heard done before, nor have I felt so stricken by an album. I've never felt just immediately captivated by a sound like this, and the vibe that it puts off is truly second to none. But with that being said, let's kind of dive right in here. So, The Ruins of Beverast, like I mentioned, is a one-man project. It's been going on for quite a while now. I think it started in 2003, and it's this one guy, and he just puts all this stuff together, and the stuff that he's able to achieve as a solo musician is just incredible and actually insane. And I say that, as somebody who is also a solo musician, and I don't think I would ever be able to put together something nearly as deep and just vibey as his work. But Exuvia, it's a tribal sounding, like, psychedelic blackened doom album. It does have some black metal stuff on there as well, blast beats and tremolo picking, but a lot of it is very doomy. But it's got a very, like, drony and psychedelic sound. I mean, I don't really know how else to describe it other than it feels like you've been transported into some tribe doing like a shamanistic ritual, and you've just drank like a whole bowl of ayahuasca and you're just going deep into it. Like it's captivating. I don't know how else to describe it. But some staples of this album, the sound, just the songwriting really is immense. It's so many different layers of guitar and drums and field recordings, I guess you would say. There's samples on here, and screeching vocals and clean vocals sometimes, and chanting. Like, I really don't even know how else to describe it without imploring you to go listen to it for yourself. The layering and just the composition of each song just is immaculate. It's near perfection as far as my opinion is concerned. I really don't think you're going to find a better assembled and composed album in this style. Nor will you probably find an album that's really much in this style that achieves this sound either. I think that it's kind of the culmination of his work up until this point. Obviously, since then, the Thule Grimoires came out. That is also a really good album, but I prefer Exuvia if I must be honest. But yeah, so the sound, it's dense, it's captivating, and it kind of like makes you want to just put your headphones on and close your eyes and just zone out and be taken away on this journey into the ritual. I don't know how else to say that. The quality, the recording quality is clear, but it's got enough reverb and distortion to really help augment the atmospheric songwriting. It really kind of carries itself well without sounding too blown out or spacey. And there's a lot of interesting notes on this song. For example, the Pythia's Pale Wolves, one of the longer tracks of the album, there's this long building section in the middle that just sounds like you're in the middle of literally right in the middle of some ritual going on. There's like a screeching and like ethereal female vocal that kind of carries through, and it's just got this like driving beat, and you're just sitting there like in awe, your mouth's agape. Like it's really hard to describe. But the actual musicianship, the instruments are performed incredibly well and very tight. The drums are clean. They sound very good too, by the way. They're punchy and in the mix, but they don't like drown anything else out. I would say this mix is just incredibly well rounded. You hear every element that is necessary. There's a lot of stuff going on to the background that you can still make out and hear, and it really just adds to the whole ambiance of the record. But the guitar work is clean and it's dense. It's so good. Like I don't know. Like there's so many different guitar tracks and layers and different parts that come in, and you can hear them kind of come in and fade in and out as he desired. But it comes together so well, and the quality is just really, really good for what I would consider to be like a black metal or black metal adjacent album. A lot of times with black metal, you have these records that are recorded, and it sounds like they're coming out of a trash can. Burzum, for example, like plugging straight into a tape deck with a big fuzz and just recording straight onto that. Like you have that really razor sharp tone. This is quite contrarian in that sense. You have a really clean recording sound, but I really think that helps the record. I don't think this would be nearly as impactful with such a buzzsaw kind of sounding tone that you would expect from a more traditional black metal sound. If I could critique something regarding that, though, I would say that the bass guitar is not very present. You can hear it at some points, but it's probably deeper in the mix than I would say I would personally do. Obviously maybe there was some sort of intentional design choice with that, but I think the bass is a bit overshadowed by a lot of the dense guitar work. But other than that, I mean, I really can't fault much of anything as far as the way he wrote these songs and how they flow together in and out. There's a solo in the title track, a guitar solo that's just so good. Like the way that it comes in, there's this really long build up, and the solo is like the culmination of this long just journey filled build up, and there's kind of some clean chanting vocals that occur through this section, and you finally get into the solo, and there's this beautiful, just perfect drum fill that brings it in. And it's such like, it just like hits your ears, and it's pinpoint precise. All the notes he's playing and just everything, the way that it comes across, it's just exactly as it should be. Like there's some really cool like trills and hammer-on kind of stuff that he does on the guitar, and some octave chords, and just really awesome sounds that just, this solo just like is almost the capstone of this song. And it would be incredibly difficult for me to pick a favorite track from this album. Exuvia, the title track, is phenomenal. Searcher Barber Maritime is phenomenal. The Pythia's Pale Wolves. And then lastly, the outro track, I'm probably going to butcher this name, but it's like Tactitum Tutum. It's like a really drony, but I don't know, like tribal sounding song, and it's just the most psychedelic and ethereal sounding thing ever. Like it hits you, and you're just like sitting there like fully limp listening to it by the end, because by the end of this album, you've been through this sonic journey, and you're probably feeling a little bit exhausted, and it just caps off with this incredible track that just, it's like sums up the record. It's incredibly well made in how it's done. And it's just such an impactful listen. And like I said, this is all in my opinion. You might hate this album, but for me, like I still, like I said, I still remember the first time I listened to it, and I wish I could go back and experience that again for the first time, just to like have that feeling, because the more times I've listened, like the better it's gotten, but I don't think anything will ever hit quite like that first listen. Some other notable parts before I kind of conclude here. Um, this might be really small and minute, but there's this flute part at the beginning of Towards Malakia that it's just so crispy. It's like a whistle in the night, and you hear the chants and the tribal drums kind of come in. Then there's a synthy build and some chants, like, and it just drones into this song, and the guitar just comes in, and you're like transfixed, and it's just hypnotizing. That is probably the best way I could describe this album. Is it's hypnotizing. It's like I said, you're in the middle of this shamanistic ritual or culture or whatever, and you're just hypnotized by what you're experiencing. And I think that really just sums it up. I mean, I don't think you will find a better album in this style. It is truly a masterpiece. I own it on vinyl. I have a limited edition pressing of it. It's purple and awesome, and it's just it's incredible. I really don't think you'll find a better sounding Blackened Doom album, or I would go so far as to say it might be one of the greatest metal albums just ever released of all time. Obviously, like I said, this is my opinion and my alone, but I really don't think you're going to go wrong, and I genuinely hope that y'all will give this album a listen if you've never heard of it, and just give it a shot to sit down and go all the way through it and just experience what it has to offer. But yeah, that's been Exuvia by the Ruins of Beverast, and check out the rest of his work as well. He deserves the listen and the attention, because he is truly on a different level as far as musicianship, especially for one guy. But yeah, I mean, with that being said, I think that pretty much sums up my thoughts. Like I said, I just kind of gushed about how awesome this album is for 12 minutes, but check it out, give it a listen, and let me know what you think in the comments if you're so inclined. But I have been Colin, that has been Exuvia, and I will see you next time.